As an artist, can I get you to stop for a moment and rethink nature and get you to connect again? Because as children, I think we all love the natural world. And then we kind of get busy with our lives, and we might move to a big city, and then we're not as able to connect to what might be right outside our front door. One of the things I did, because again, when I put something like this in, I tracked all the carbon we used to make the piece. It was about 5.5 tons. And then the Natural Areas Conservancy worked with the Madison Square Park Conservancy, and in the fall, before the trees came out, they came in when there were no leaves on the trees, and they came out when the trees were dropping their leaves in the fall. So it went through one entire living cycle in Manhattan. But then the conservancies worked together in the fall, and we planted 1,000 trees and shrubs. So that's sort of where Ghost Forest was. And then my first panel discussions and open talks were all about nature-based solutions to climate change. Because again, 50% of all emissions are caused by land use change, and it is our greatest threat to biodiversity. So I kind of say nature-based solutions can save 2 birds with 1 tree. We can reduce emissions by 50 to 90%, according to many different reports, and we can also save biodiversity. But more importantly, in thinking about how do we connect to nature, you need to get people to love it and to be in awe of it and to be in wonder of it. So anytime I can get you to open your eyes, take a pause, breathe, and check out what's right outside our front doors, that's how we connect to nature. So I started this project, and I didn't know where it was going. And I actually put things up on the website in full view as a work in progress. I am an artist that likes to work with time, and I knew the piece would be about an ecological history of the planet, past, present, and future. So if you think about what's missing, I wasn't focused on the dodo bird because we really can't do anything about the dodo bird. It's about all the things that will disappear in our lifetime and what we can do to help. So it's about making you feel sad about how biodiverse this planet was and can be again, and then telling you what you can do in your own lives, and also some very big macro thinking about what this problem really is. But again, you know, the reason we're losing so many species is because we're destroying their homes. And so again, you can't protect species without focusing on habitat degradation and loss. So again, this is the intersection, the Venn diagram between the causes of climate change and the causes of species loss. And my emphasis throughout Missing is on nature-based solutions. And according to the Nature Conservancy and Project Drawdown, it is an immense amount of carbon that can be sequestered if we reform our agricultural practices, our ranching, forestry, and then protect more lands. So without going into it, it's multi-sided, the empty room. The first piece was for California Academy of Sciences. We took over the empty billboard in Times Square. It's a bit of a guerrilla art project. And there's an exhibit up on me at the Smithsonian Portrait Gallery. It's been up since September. I think 1 million people go through there. So we introduced it to Missing, and we asked people to give us a memory. Again, how does nature relate to you? How can we make this, how do we bring it back to your own backyard? And of course, there is a website and a mobile site. So you can go online. You all owe me a memory. Everyone here, go to whatismissing.org. Please share a memory. It can be something you, or better yet, your parents, your grandparents have told you about something either missing or restored. It's not just about loss. It's about action and hope.
Would the Vietnam Memorial be your first public piece?
That was my first piece. Yeah, it's like I was a senior at Yale.
Yeah. So, and would you say though that there's a through line on how your creative approach has been?
It hasn't really changed. And again, with that even first one, I visited the site. It was part of a class project on funereal architecture. No, we weren't all morbid. It was more that how does architecture deal with its own mortality? How do we face our mortality? And I think it was a seminar, and there were, I think, 12 of us in the class, and it was the last project. Someone had found a poster for a competition, so we thought, what a perfect way to end the class. And we all decided we'd meet at the site because it was around Thanksgiving break. So now the assignment before that was to design a memorial to World War III. And I did a lot of research on memorials. We could talk about what I designed, but the professor really didn't like it because it was futile, terrifying, painful to experience, and then you were left in the dark having to kind of crawl your way back out. And he said at some point...
but he liked it, though.
Oh my God, he was shaking mad, and he said, if I had a brother who died in that war, I would never want to come here. And I said, Andy, it's World War III. We're not going to be around. And so I kind of was approaching teaching history at that moment with there's a much deeper message that we need to learn, and we have to face the truth, and we have to face the facts. And so we go down, we see the site. It's a park, and heaven forbid I'm going to destroy a park to make this piece. So how do I slip something in? It's a geode. I didn't add a heavy form into the earth. I cut the earth and opened it and polished the edges. The noun, the physicality, the names are the object.
Yeah.
And so I get back to Yale. This is a fun story where, like, I have studied memorials and researched it, and all of a sudden, this is what I do. I kind of say you lay an egg. I'm in the dining hall. We're eating mashed potatoes. And that's how I first envision it, in my mashed potatoes.
It's called playing with your food.
It's playing with my food. And it's definitely, it's an initial cut that heals over in time, but there's still that kind of cut into the earth. But then the names were required by the competition. So this is modernity, and this is the Vietnam vets having to determine they were going to give themselves a memorial, because just remember, they were spat at when they came home. So they required all the names to be on the memorial. That was something I knew. I didn't try to make a form and then throw 57,000 names on it. It's a tablet, and it becomes a timeline where the beginning and end of the war meet, coming full circle, broken by the earth. The names are the object. In other words, I'm not fighting a conditional requirement. I'm making the piece about them.
About that.
And then you see yourself reflected. It's also Orpheus and Eurydice. So you get to see this darker world you can't enter, but now you have to turn around and walk back into the light.